At home on every rural road, Hyundai Country Calendar.
This is kind of when pigs are at their happiest.
Establishing a free-range pig farm from scratch is the realisation of a dream for this couple.
One of the main reasons why I do this is because I'm horrified by intensive piggeries.
But pig farming is a long way from their old lives in the corporate world.
I used to joke that I was going to give this all up and become a pig farmer, and everybody would just laugh. Little did they know. I was the managing director and I'd been running the company for 7 years in Sydney. There was nobody telling me that I was doing anything wrong, and there was no one showing me what else I could do. So I'd stopped learning and I'd started trying to find things that I could do that kept my mind active. And I saw an advert for a pig course just north of Sydney when I was living in Sydney. Just a day course, went along and herded some pigs and looked at the mathematics of pig farming, and that's where it started. Come on. I was deeply against intensive pig farming and the fact that we're keeping sentient animals indoors just seemed completely wrong. And at the same time, it was also an opportunity for me to have a niche market or a point of difference where I could actually promote the fact that they were free range, purebred, rare breeds, heritage breeds, outdoors, as opposed to the majority of pork and bacon that you buy, which is intensive. So that niche market was helped the business side of it, and the fact that they were not intensive helped me kind of emotionally to do something good, let's say. I wanted to do pigs that were a bit different to the intensive white pigs that we always see. The main reasons that we ended up with intensive pig farms with white pigs is because the black pigs are slower growing, especially because they're free range, they're slower growing, but they also have black hair, and consumers got to a point where they didn't like seeing black hair on their meat. So even after it's been through the works and the hair's all been scalded off, you still get very small flecks of black hair, and that became unfashionable, and so therefore they started working on the white pigs instead of that. Nowadays people are starting to understand that black hair is not dirty, and heritage breed pigs, because they're closer to their original ancestors, they also have a different type of pork. It's a more meatier type of pork. The flesh is thicker as opposed to the kind of intensively bred, fastly bred white pigs where the meat is almost like chicken.
Daniel Todd has two main breeds, Berkshires with the upright ears and white faces, and large blacks with the floppy ears. During their 6 or 7 months on the farm, Daniel feeds them 2 square meals a day.
The thing about pigs feeding is there's a hierarchy, and they're all trying to get to the best spot on the trough. So even if there's enough space on the trough, they'll still fight to get to that best spot. My troughs are made out of plastic barrels, and as they get bigger I have to add barrels. So at the moment there's 19 in there and there's 2 barrels. There probably now needs to be 3 barrels.
A pig farm in Horowhenua is a far cry from downtown Sydney, but what prompted Daniel's move from the big city was meeting a Kiwi girl.
We were both living in Sydney. Daniel was busy jet-setting around in his corporate job, and I was working in Sydney in the ABC, and we met through internet dating. All was going well, and until our real intentions were revealed, and Daniel's was that he wanted to be a pig farmer, and mine was that I was planning to move back to New Zealand. So it wasn't really a good start, but he ended up accommodating both of those things.
The couple moved to New Zealand and stayed with Claire's family in Taranaki while they looked for the right piece of land.
We started looking for the farm when we were living in New Plymouth and came down to this area and had a look at a few farms around here, and this one was a standout. We stood in the back of the Land Rover and got driven right up to the top point of the hill there and looked at the view back, and I think realised it was just so beautiful. couldn't really say no to that.
When they took over the property, there was plenty of work to be done. Luckily, Daniel had the help of friendly neighbours, like local lad Reuben Nicholas.
Just over there. When we first got here, all we really had was a fence around the outskirts of the farm, and a lot of that was falling down as well. There was electric all over the farm for fencing, but most of it wasn't connected. And so I've had to build electric fencing all over, I mean kilometres of it. The first time we did a fence, one of our neighbours popped in and he said, oh, one of the first things I could teach you is how to tie one of those. And so he got stuck in and just went snap and ripped it off. And so ever since then we've been trying to work towards that. Learning anything new is fantastic, and you know, if you ever stop learning, it affects your mental well-being. And still, you know, to this day, having tied hundreds of these twists or knots, if I get one perfect, it gives me a sense of achievement. One of the things I've found about farming, and I'm sure every farmer will be sitting there going, yes, of course, is that you have to learn everything. You know, I need to be a mechanic, I need to do woodworking, I need to know about chemistry and physics. There's so much that you have to learn. In almost every other job, you would be a specialist. Here you are master of nothing and jack of everything, I suppose.
The fences were fixed, but Daniel still lacked the most important thing on a pig farm.
Gordon, come here. Hello. So this is Gordon. This here is Paula, and over there is Marigold. So Gordon's the lucky man that gets two ladies. Gordon's named after Gordon Ramsay. They're all named after chefs, basically. Over here I've got Delia Smith. Hugh is actually Hugh Fernley-Whittinstall, so kind of a chef, I suppose. Amongst the others, who are Martha, Ruth Pretty, and Maggie. New Zealand's done a really good job of breeding rare breed pigs, actually. So the Berkshires here are very, very good quality Berkshire pigs. Delia, who's over there, has got a really nice straight back. She's got a very stubby nose and nice upright ears. But the other thing is I had to kind of convince the breeders in New Zealand that I was worthy to take these pigs, that I was going to do the right thing, that I was going to look after them, and I was also going to breed them, because there's no point in just buying rare breed pigs and letting them live out their natural day and not having any piglets, because you're not making them less rare.
The piglets live with their mums till they're about 8 weeks, when they're moved from the breeding paddock down to the growing blocks. But as grower pigs, they're still entirely free range.
Most pigs, 90% of pig farms are intensive. They're indoors, they're not allowed to move around. It means they get fatter quicker, but there's less flavour to the meat. The second most prevalent is free farmed. A lot of pork, which you believe is free range, it uses the word free in the title, is actually free farmed. And what that means is that they're bred outdoors, the piglets are born outdoors, but then at 6 weeks old or 8 weeks, depending on the farm, they're all taken indoors to a straw hut where they don't have much space to move around. It's very clean, it's lovely, it's better than intensive piggeries, but the reality is they can't move, so they get bigger quicker, so they can get them off to the abattoir as quick as possible, probably 4 or 5 months, whereas mine will take 6 to 7 months. Free range is free range. It is exactly what you expect free range to be. The piglets are born outdoors. The piglets live outdoors with their mother. We wean them at 8 to 10 weeks. We take them down to another paddock just so they're away from their parents, and they can dig in the earth, they can make as much mess as they want, they can eat the grass, they can eat the roots, and they can damage my lovely soil, because at the end of the day the most important thing is that they're happy, they're healthy, and then what we get, we believe, is really good quality pork.
And it's that good quality pork that has its customers flocking to the market.
I'll take 2 of the
Apple sage. Perfect.
Pig farmer Daniel Todd and his wife Claire are new to rural life. Their move to this Horowhenua block just a year ago stemmed from an epiphany Daniel had on a business trip.
It was a good few years ago, and I was sitting on a plane. I was flying to Hong Kong, and I was doing some kind of Excel spreadsheet, and I thought, I'm going to just write something down. There was something in my head, and I wanted to write it down, and it was literally just about the fact that I wanted to change things, and I wanted to change my life. Come on, Woody. And a few things had happened that made me want to change my life. One of them was a dog. 3 or 4 years ago, I was looking online at pictures of orphan dogs, and I had no intention of getting a dog, and I don't even know why I was looking at them. But there was this picture of this dog that just looked so sad. And I thought, I'll give him a ring, and if he's still available, I'll pick him up. And he already had the name, and the name was Woody. And so when I wrote that first blog, it was Woody that had kind of changed my life. He had made me start to think, I guess, a bit, let's say, sideways to the business world. So I called the farm Woody's Farm.
The blog he started on that flight several years ago has expanded across social media.
We started a Facebook page because it's very quick and easy to just tell people what you're up to and see if people are interested, and to get some feedback as well. And Twitter has been absolutely fantastic with connecting to specifically cafes and restaurants. In Wellington in particular, it's been brilliant. And so, if nothing else, the marketing has been a complete success.
But if figuring out the basics of pig farming has been a steep learning curve, then the addition of baby Fred to the mix has really kept the couple on their toes.
He's added to our already quite busy lives, but he's great fun now. When he was first born, he was a bit of a shock to our systems, but now he's lots of giggles and lots of fun, and we love having him around.
4 pocket piggies with a pup.
We were both starting businesses. We moved to New Zealand, then we decided to get married at our farm, which was added organisation, and then we had a baby, so all in the same year pretty much. So now we're taking the rest of our lives off, I think.
Just as babies need constant feeding when they're little, these youngsters have insatiable appetites too.
Sheep and cattle, generally they're out on the grass, they're grass eating. You only really supplement them in the winter when you need to supplement them. The grass isn't growing. Pigs, you have to feed every single day. It's not a supplement, it's their feed. And that's a cost. So when we talk about a kilo of meat at the local butcher's is $6.99, well, if it's $6.99 for beef, it should be more expensive for pork. We always seem to think that pork should be cheaper or at least the same price, but the reality is a pig gets fed every day. There's no free food. When I first started, I thought, well, it would be a great idea to be able to source local vegetables and leftover food, etc. But the reality is, it's dangerous. You don't know what you're getting. There's plastic bags in it. It's dirty. It's filthy. It's difficult to handle. And so I came to the conclusion that actually, if I have to run a business off free food, then it's not really a business, is it? Because if that food dries up, then I haven't got a business. So my business plan had to be based on buying food. And then I supplement them with free brewer's grain, which we get from the Garage Project in Wellington. And this is really high quality grain. It's just made really good quality beer. And we get it as it comes out of the vat. It's still steaming hot when we drive home. And the pigs get to eat that as much as possible. And then when that's gone, we go back to the proper feed. This is a barley and maize mix. It's also got essential amino acids and vitamins as well, which I've designed with a local mill, and they make it for me. And this comes from a place in Foxton Mills. They call themselves Online Supplements. So we had to work together with a nutritionist to find a feed that worked for us, that the pigs would eat. And the great thing about that was coming up with my own diet, being able to play around with the percentages and what we put in. We were also able to save about 35% on the price. That knocked my food bill down by a massive amount, and has helped tremendously.
I think it's pretty obvious that I'm naturally a farmy person.
Both of us are city slickers really who've just started out in farm life. But, you know, I'm learning the ropes gradually, so yeah, no, it's good. I like it. I love living in the country. We got quite a kick out of being able to have fresh eggs every day when we first moved here, so it's great going to the supermarket and never having to buy another egg again.
Setting up a farm from scratch involves a massive workload. But judging by what this couple packed into their first year here, they're clearly not afraid of hard work. Daniel and Claire had only been here a couple of months when they decided their new home would be the perfect venue for their wedding.
I always wanted to do it at the farm, even though it created a bit more work than just doing it at a venue.
I reckon that the day that we came to look at the farm and we went for that drive around, I think, one, we knew we were going to buy the farm, and two, we knew we were going to get married on the farm.
Yeah, true.
It was just a total no-brainer. Initially, we were going to have the whole ceremony here as well, but we actually decided to go down to the local church in Manukau.
It was a great day,
It was a fantastic day, yeah.
It rained, but apart from that, it was good. And various other issues.
All right. Segue.
To hear the full story about a wedding day that was almost perfect, visit hyundaicountry.co.nz. Horowhenua farmer Daniel Todd is taking a road trip. This trailer load of 7-month-old Berkshire pigs is heading to the works in Whanganui.
We're off to drop the pigs off at Land Meats, the abattoir. There's 5 today, and there'll be another 4 next week as well. The whole process of transporting them is stressful for them, but if you can get them out of the trailer nice and quickly into a pen, they can then start to calm down again. Yep. It's about trying to shorten that transport time as much as possible for them and me. There's always a feeling. I think there should be. I think anybody that's dropping off animals that isn't thinking anything about the animals is, you know, they're not really doing themselves a justice. So, I always think about it. Yeah, they've grown up on the farm for 7 months, so.
From Whanganui, the pigs go in a chiller truck to be processed by Daniel's local butcher.
Hi Shane.
Hey Daniel.
How's it going, mate?
Good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, very, very good. So I've got 5 pigs coming tomorrow.
Rightio,
I've
yep.
gone to the abattoir this morning, so I've got the cutting sheet here.
Oh, yep, good.
Can I pick up the meat earlier next week and pick the rest up on the Thursday?
Yep, so you want to pick that Wednesday afternoon?
Yeah,
or?
that'd be good.
Yep.
Just gives me more time to label it up.
Yep, no, that's fine.
Cool. I sell predominantly at farmers markets, and at the moment that's Fielding Farmers Market and Hill Street Farmers Market, which is where we are today, in Thorndon. Now, bacon, I've got a bit of a choice today. We've started selling our Christmas hams online, and that's been our first online transaction. But we will be going online with everything we do, and so that people can buy it from anywhere in the country. Yes, got lots of choices today.
Fair handle too.
Well, that's because they're free-range pigs. I think it's very important that people understand where their food comes from, and that's predominantly why I do the farmers market and why I didn't just go, oh, let's open an online store. I want to meet people. I want people to understand where the meat comes from, what we do to grow the meat, and how those pigs are.
Take 2 of
Apple sage. Perfect.
Having driven to the capital for the market, Daniel makes the most of his visit by stopping at the brewery for some more feed.
Hey, so I was wondering, would you like to get some yeast in with your grain?
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
So we'll just chuck it in through there and you can just chuck it out.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's
Mate.
really high in proteins. That's brilliant, yeah.
Awesome.
Lovely,
All right,
well
then.
done. Thank you very much.
Man, would you like some beer before you go?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's also time to check on the progress of a new product he's developing with a specialist charcuterie.
Hi, Gabriel.
G'day mate, how are you?
Yeah, very good.
So this is our pancetta. This one here has been curing for about a week and a half.
Right.
Still got another week or so to go, but we're
Give
pretty
it a
happy
try.
with how it's going. So have a try and let me
Looks
know what you
absolutely
think.
bloody good, so we're going to give it a whirl.
God, it
Yeah, man,
smells,
up
it
to you.
smells amazing.
Mate, is that good or what?
That's really nice, yeah. Wow. Got any more?
Meanwhile, at home, Claire is running her own business.
The business is called Izzy and Jean Co, and it's an online retail business, and I import homewares and accessories from around the world. The idea is that I try to avoid mass-produced products, and I go for things that are handcrafted or made by artisans or made by family businesses that have been making a particular product for many, many years, and things with an interesting story behind them. It is a big juggle, and because I've had a baby in the last few months and I'm trying to run a business from home, I'm very little used to Daniel on the pig farm. So I just don't have the time, and running a business is a full-time job as it is, so we're a couple of quite busy people.
Not everyone would give up stable jobs mid-career to buy a farm and set up a business. But Daniel and Claire don't consider themselves brave.
I think there's a bit of stupidity involved, which I think...
Healthy stupidity.
Yeah, if you don't have a little bit of recklessness about it, then you're never going to bother, you're never going to have the balls to do it.
Yeah.
So, and we do have our moments of meltdowns where one of us will be saying, this is not working, or
There's
whatever.
so much to do.
Where the other person is there to give some reassurance.
I don't think either of us are the types of people to sit back and thank ourselves. I mean, we've achieved so much in the last 2 years, and I don't think we've ever really been able to sit back and go, God, crikey, that was fantastic. I think one day we'll probably just sit down with a bottle of champagne and just congratulate ourselves for everything we've done.
Hopefully that's the way it turns out.
Yeah, yeah. Bottle of champagne each.
For more information about this program, go to tvnz.co.nz, keyword Country Calendar, or find us on Facebook.
Country Calendar is brought to you by Hyundai New Zealand.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
Next time,
This is kind of when pigs are at their happiest.
building a free-range pig farm from scratch is a dream come true for this couple.
One of the main reasons why I do this is I'm horrified by intensive piggeries. Even in boardroom meetings, I used to joke that I was going to give this all up and become a pig farmer, and everybody would just laugh. Little did they know. Come on,
That's next time on Hyundai Country Calendar.
come on, come on.